Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about this new record from Gang of Youths entitled Angel in Real Time. They released that on February 25th. This is the band's third studio album, and it follows 2017's Go Farther in Lightness. And my goodness, what an effort from these guys. Really quite an achievement. I'm really just floored. I've been trying to process this thing this morning, and I have to work all day, so I'd like to get this album review out. I'd like to talk about this, but really just a very intense emotional effort from these guys. Really impressed with David Leo Pepe, I believe is how you say his name. I've been trying to find pronunciations, and no one seems to be brave enough to tackle that. So I believe that's how you say it. No disrespect if that is incorrect, but just an incredible performance from him vocally and lyrically. If you're not familiar with the background on this record, he's really had some struggles with his own personal mental health. Suicide was an issue for him, and he's been very vocal about that. But his father passed away, and this album is inspired by his memory. And in dealing with his passing, David discovered that his father led this double life. And, just one of those kind of like mind-blowing things that seems like it's kind of made for a movie. You'd never think it happened to you. Well, it happened to him. And so what I love about David is that he seems like such a cool cat. Like, I would love to just pull up at a bar and buy this dude a pint and pick his brain for a bit. Because instead of being angry and feeling like a victim and being mad at his dad, obviously there was probably feelings of anger there, but, he understands, and the approach that he takes on the record is that people are complicated, and he understands his dad was a complicated man, and he loved him intensely. And while his life wasn't perfect, and while, this other side of him that he is discovering, and continues to discover is, obviously I can't even imagine what the whirlwind of emotions is like. But, he found out that he has two older half brothers. And so the relationship that he's been able to develop with them is incredible. He's talked about that. I like that he's been able to look at the bright side of this situation. And there's a lot of good that has come from it. He's talked about that. And I just, again, I'm very close with my dad and my mom as well. But I haven't seen my family in over a couple of years. And I get to see my family in about 6 weeks. And I'm really excited to take that road trip. I know I appreciate my parents very much, and my father especially, I'm pretty tight with. And, this album really it hit me hard. Like, I miss him a lot, and my heart goes out to anybody who doesn't have their parents. I'm very thankful to have mine. So, it's been quite a morning trying to wreck this thing, trying to keep it together. This thing made me cry multiple times. Really just a very intense record emotionally, but it's beautiful. It's it's 67 minutes, and I took a look at the runtime, and I was a little intimidated at first, but I'm blown away with just the way this thing moves from start to finish. It was over before I knew it, and I'm really excited to listen to it again. I'm going to call it the cry challenge. Try not to cry the second time through, but it's okay if you do. Honestly, again, this thing is. It's very emotional, and I think that's what I love about it so much. The music's incredible too. David, the string arrangements that he puts together for compositions in the past is remarkable, but I think he's really just blowing it up on this record. Gorgeous orchestration. A lot of the tone really reminds me of what Sigur Rós does in their music, so I love that about this record. I love the balance of heartland rock with indie rock. Really just, I hear a lot of a guy like John Mellencamp, a little bit of, Bruce Springsteen, but this record reminds me of, bands like, when Arcade Fire was working with Neon Bible, a record like that. And I really love that element of this record. And then there's just a bunch of other fun nuances that they're playing with, different bands. And, there's certainly kind of a post-punk element to their sound, definitely with some of the synth elements that they're working with. And I think this record is it's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm really thinking that this is a very strong contender for Record of the Year. And again, David and the entire band should be very proud of this effort. It kicks off with You and Everything, and it's got this light program intro, guitars and strings swell in this song, gentle melody with this rolling drum, and again, a very intensely personal song about his father, and it's just the vivid stories that he's telling in this. I mean, I immediately just broke down upon listening to this thing. It really is quite a remarkable way to open up this record. Big coda to close out the song. Nice way to kick this thing off. In the Wake of Your Leave is the second song. It's great indie feel, picks up the tempo a little bit. Again, a very pretty string arrangement in that song. And then your third track, The Angel of 8th Avenue, picks up the pace even more. And I really dig this song. This song reminded me of Joy Division a lot. in the way that the bass is doing the work that the guitar should be doing. Reminds me a lot of the way that Peter Hook plays his bass, and I really like the feel of this track. It's absolutely phenomenal. Returner, your fourth song, just more beautiful strings of this. I just can't get enough of it. They're all over this album, and you just will not get sick of them. Love the drum element as well in this song. It's a good balance of string and drums, and it's very minimal. Really dig that component of this track. Unison is your sixth song. I love the bass lead and just the bass throughout this track. But you get about a minute of this thing in the intro where the bass kind of builds the song, and then mellow orchestration. The song reminded me of Sigur Rós a little bit. This sounds like Sigur Rós meets like a mellow style Beck track. Really nicely done. Tend the Garden is your sixth song. Retro funk and soul in this track, a little bit of R&B. There's these intermittent piano breakdowns that I really loved about this song. The Kingdom is Within You is your seventh song. Beautiful soaring strings again. It's got this British house element, and again, you talk about the different nuances on these songs. Really well done. Doing little experimentation, exploration. I love the feel of that song. It's almost a song that you could hear remixed out on the dance floor in the summertime. It's just got that kind of vibe. Your eighth song, Spirit Boy. It's just another moment where I just kind of lost it. Very big pop-oriented track, just beautiful soaring melodies. Really impressive moment on this record, and another very personal moment as well. This whole thing obviously is very personal, as we talked about. Brothers, your ninth track, just simple piano and vocal track here, but it's very autobiographical. And this is a really good example of David in his lyricism. He can be very biting. He's very honest, and certainly can be a little snarky. Certainly not shy about swearing, and I like that component. There's certainly an honesty to it, and it definitely I feel is more a reflection of his personality. The Aussies can be. I definitely think it works for him. It's absolutely a phenomenal element of this record. Your 10th track, Forbearance, is got this David Gray element to it. It's got that nice up-tempo, sort of kind of like Brit pop and bright piano, bright synths, but kind of this darkness that hangs over it a little bit. Really a nice dynamic track there. The Man Himself, poppy, soaring, very rock-oriented. I will say that this is probably the one track on the album that I wasn't totally floored by. It's a good song, but I really feel if I had to pick one to remove, it'd probably be that track. But I think this thing from start to finish, every track belongs here, I would argue as well. Constructive criticism, how I am. Hand of God is your penultimate track. Just gorgeous piano ballad. Reminded me of Jeff Buckley, honestly. It's a very fine moment, very fine penultimate track. And then Goal of the Century is just an excellent album closer. The strings at the end of Hand of God actually blend right into that track. Just a dynamic closer. I love the driving bass in this song, and again, a beautiful arrangement of orchestration to really to build this song and close it out. And I love the way that the album lyrically finishes, acknowledging that his old man was an angel in real time. Dad, you're an angel in real time as well, my friend. I love you. Mom, I love you as well too. Call your parents, tell them that you love them, give them a big hug if they're nearby and you can. We're obviously going to vinyl please this thing. Very, very special record. I enjoyed this a lot, and I hope you do as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.